Hey everybody, it's Jane Johnston with the BriarHillGroup at REMAX Camosun, host of Vancouver Island Time, Community Talks, and He Said, She Said, They Said, a real discussion on real estate every Monday morning at 10 a.m. I'm here today to talk to you about what's happened with the Victoria real estate market for 2020 and what we are predicting is going to happen for 2021. I've just been on a very exciting call with some realtors from across Canada. You can see it on our cross-country market update page. But in the meantime, let's just get started here. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to start the PowerPoint. Isn't that sexy? All right. So the main thing you need to know is that overall the stats were up from last year. So 8,497 properties sold in 2020. That's up 17.1% from 2019. And we had 1,000 sales, over 1,000 sales in the 10-year average. I have a dollar sign there. That's incorrect. So we are up over the past 10 years in terms of our average number of sales by 1,000 homes. Factors affecting last year, obviously, were the pandemic. We didn't expect the market to rebound so successfully, but it did, especially with sales down 50% in the late spring, but it rebounded, and obviously low interest rates were a part of that. Also, people who are in steady jobs have the money and the resources to buy a second home or move from their condos into single family homes. And there's been a move from the core to the outer areas of Victoria as well. So the year-end totals, our final count for December 2020 was 1,279. That's down 34.5% from last year, and it's the lowest inventory we've had in the past 25 years. And compared to 1,952 the year before, you can see we outsold December this year compared to last year, and I'll show you this in a second. So one of the things that's affecting our economy right now is that we have low inventory and we have a high demand. And what's happening is people are tending to move out to the West Shore. We've seen a bump in housing sales in especially Royal Bay and in the Highlands. If we look at what's happening in terms of the cycle of real estate, the bump in May is quite normal. This year, it was deferred about 2 months and it ended up happening in July, and the whole market just shifted. Whereas normally we really calmed down in December, we didn't this year. We saw a number of sales, over 600 sales this year, even though our listing inventory was just over 400. And so our list to sale ratio went up to between 65 and 70%. And that means we're firmly in a seller's market. Looking at the median average prices year over year, so 296 units of homes sold in Greater Victoria last year. And in terms of the average price, so for single family homes in Greater Victoria, the average was $992 in December, and it was $901 a median, and that is up 13.3% from last year. In November, it was $1,149 of average with a median of $909,900. Now, this is really important. We're actually, if you compare it to last year where the average was $899 and we've gone up to almost $1 million, we're at a very important cusp in terms of financing because we're just about to go over $1 million. And if we do that, then what that does is affects people who have to have 20% down. All of a sudden, they're going to be out of the market. So there'll be a lot of pressure to keep the homes under $1 million or perhaps a change in rules. I can't see that happening in the meantime, but it looks like people will have to have at least 20% down in the future. In terms of condos, average price in December was $485. The median was $435. And that's compared to November's numbers of $469. So it's up. And $486 year over year. We're almost just at about equal this year compared to last year in condos. In terms of row houses or townhomes, we're at an average of 681, a median of 625. That's compared to 667 last month. So we're up again. So that's up from last year of 555 of 22.8%. So we're seeing any place where you're not doing a lot of shared space, townhomes and single family homes are going up. Condos are averaged out. Let's just take it to a stat that's easy to recognize. In terms of the last 2 years, the average price of a home was $900,000 in December 2018, and then it went up to around 900 again in December 2019, and then it's just under $1 million after going above that line. So I think we're going to see a bit of fluctuation around the $1 million mark. Remember, the average is affected by a lot of high-end sales and low-end sales, and unfortunately our low end is coming up and our high end is getting higher, and that's what's affecting our average. Row townhomes, well, they went for a bit of a dip in 2019, but they've recovered nicely, and we are at where we were 2 years ago with an average price of $675. Year over year, though, compared to last year, we're up almost $150,000. And condos, if you were to look at this line in 20 years from now, it would look flat. We're basically hovering around just under the 500 to 475 range. And so very steady. If you're going to buy a condo, don't expect a big return on investment in a short period of time. I find this really interesting. So this shows you where the areas are, what the price ranges were, and where we're seeing activity. So in Victoria and Vic West, we're seeing a lot of condos in the range of the 375 up to the 450 range, and then fairly steady up to about 775, and a few condos over $1 million. And then the next biggest area is in Esquimalt. There's a new development that just happened on Dunsmuir, and they released 20 units. And you can see here that's reflected in this pricing here. And then Saanich East is always one of our biggest areas, and we're seeing a lot of activity in the 325 to 425 range, 450 range. So if you're wanting to buy a condo in those price ranges, this is where you're going to look. And then the other area is, of course, Langford, where there's a ton of new construction happening, and we see a lot of activity in the 350 up to the 475 range. Single family homes are obviously up in the higher range. What's interesting to me is when I got into real estate, the average price of a home in 2006 was $399, and now we're up around 800 to 900,000 just for like a regular home. I'm seeing now in Victoria, Vic West, that a bulk of homes are selling between the $750 and the $1 million range. And in Oak Bay, we're seeing a ton of listings up over the $1.75 million range. And then the other range below that is up to 1.35 down to 950. If you were to find a home right now under $1 million in Oak Bay, you'd be very lucky. Whereas in the summer, there was quite a lot of choice. And then the other area of interest is Saanich East. So 750 up to 1.25. We're seeing a very steady sales in that area, especially just around the $1 million mark. A lot of people are purchasing. And again, Colwood and Langford is moving up as well. And you can see Souk even is coming up into the $750, $800,000 range. But Langford is a close tie for the fourth or fifth busiest district, and Colwood is following behind it. Royal Bay is one of the hot areas of the city right now. Lots of new construction happening, and all different types of homes in terms of townhomes, single-family homes, patio homes, duplexes. They're all being built in Royal Bay if you want more information about that. So with us outselling the number of listings, our sales to listing ratio has moved us very firmly into what's called a seller's market. And on the right there, you can see we're about 65%. And this is up from April, where we were firmly in a buyer's market. And I know that there were some condo purchasers out there looking for deals at that point, taking advantage of the market, but we've rebounded very strongly. So that being said, we are moving strongly into a seller's market for this year. With the inventory low, with the interest rates low, the fact that we're on an island and that we have a lot of product that is coming up, I think we're going to see a strong market. I think it's going to be a good year. So if you want more information about what's happening in real estate, please give me a call. I'm Jane Johnston with the BriarHillGroup at REMAX Camosun, and you can reach me at 250-744-0775. There you go. 11 minutes for 1 year of real estate. That about says it all. Give me a call if you have any questions. Take care. Have a great day, everybody.